looking at?
Janeway! I need your help.
You know how to keep a lady waiting.
How do I get my feet on the ground?
All you had to do was ask. All right, cadets, let's get to work.
Yes.
Stabilize the inertial dampeners to restore the artificial gravity.
And where's that?
The controls are on the operations console.
Ah, found it.
A bit to the left. Your other left. That's the one.
Artificial gravity restored.
I am not gonna let you out of this again. I got the prisoner!
That's great, kid. We've still got problems up here. Zero, you should have enough juice for the shields now.
Shields are at 80%, but dropping with every hit.
The Protostar is equipped with a sufficient tactical array. Why not use it to even the odds?
Ooh, Jacob Pod gets to blow stuff up?
Technically, it's auto-targeting, but you get to push the button.
Okay, she's back in the brig. Oh my gosh. What is that river of fire?
Trillions of tons of white-hot ionized gas about to explode.
That sounds worse.
What's the call, Captain?
I don't know. We've done everything you've said, and we're still fighting to get out.
That's it! What if we stop fighting and ride the shockwave? Let it propel us free.
Bingo.
You were reading my mind.
Now that is another lie.
Full impulse into the river of fire. And do what Zero said. Ready? On my mark. Now!
Welcome, everybody, to Deep Space Pride, a gay Star Trek podcast. My name is Mike. I am one of your hosts, and with me is Johnson, my co-host. Johnson, happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, Mike. How are you?
I am doing all right. How about yourself?
I am tired. I feel old.
You feel old.
I feel old and decrepit.
I feel like this is a repeat conversation of last week.
I know. It's like basically the same every day. It's like, how much longer can I do this? It's like living in general. But you know, here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Yes. Living is important, though. Living is good. We want to,
But like, I see on a lot of these Zoom calls now, like people just have pets and they're just like lying in the background sleeping. I'm like, what a life. That'd be nice.
Oh, absolutely. I've been posting puppy photos on stories, and my dog, my 4-month-old puppy who's walking in now, just nonchalantly plops down and passes out for hours at a time. And
how nice.
Although it's not for hours at a time, because I don't sit still for an hour. I sit still for maybe an hour, but then the minute I get up, he wakes up and follows me everywhere. And yes, so there is no real reprieve. Even though I'm sitting here doing work, he's still there. And
he's cute. I met him for the first time last week.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. We had Dennis's birthday party last week.
Yes, we did.
And
we took some things, shrooms.
Well, not we.
You didn't.
I did not. I was the responsible adult in the room.
You did. And a couple of us did. And there was nothing. We felt nothing. Did Dennis have any reaction to it later?
No, none at all.
That's
Zero.
so weird, because I literally felt nothing.
I really think it's because we were having wine and food. There was a whole charcuterie. I don't even know how to say this word, but
charcuterie.
Yes, board that Dennis
meat and cheese,
and crackers that Dennis had put out. So we were having that and wine. We were doing some wine tasting from our trip to Napa.
Yeah.
and then we
And
ordered
then we
this.
stuffed ourselves with Thai food. But
Yes.
still, I would have expected something, but oh well.
Oh well, yeah. So
Yeah,
I
here we
think
are.
I think those sorts of recreational activities need to be done on their own and not with
suppose.
other.
I mean, I
things.
haven't seen like official CDC guidelines for how to take shrooms, but you know.
No, I'm sure that it's in queue somewhere behind the 17,000 COVID
Yeah.
things that they're working on. But yeah, so we had, it was a good time. You all
Yes,
met.
and I met Hamish for the first time. He's cute. He's all right.
Yes, he's all
But
right.
every time I touched him, I felt like I needed to wash my hands. So there was that.
No, that's just your weirdness. I mean, when you have when I have a dog, when you have a dog, you cannot possibly wash your hands every time after you touch them. It's just not possible.
I can't live with the dog. That's the lesson.
Yes, I mean, yes, you a dog would be way too demanding for you.
Yeah, absolutely not.
I still think you need a cat, though.
I feel I can barely take care of myself, like let alone a dog. It's like I feel like I struggle just to keep up with day-to-day activities, let alone take care of another being like a dog.
It's a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, there are days like today. I'm not. By the end of the day, I am exhausted. We've been on 2 walks, and it is exhausting.
I don't even take myself for a walk. Like I don't go outside, let alone a dog.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
I can barely bring myself to go to the bathroom because I have so many meetings, let alone walk a dog and have the dog poop and pee. It's like I'm in meetings sometimes and I'm literally like, hey, where's my company branded catheter? Because I need to install it right now. It's just like I have just so many back-to-backs. It's just like I don't have time.
Yes, I can't. Seems insane to me. And yes, my life is not quite that busy work-wise. I mean, it's busy and I have enough, but I do take time to take Hamish out for a walk and whatnot, and it keeps me. Yes, it's usually an exercise in frustration. A quick trip to Starbucks takes 20 minutes.
That's a long time.
Yes, but that includes a pee and poop stop, so that's fine. But it's also everything else that he finds fascinating about walking down the street, which is people, leaves, garbage on the ground, everything. So it's a lot of work. So I'm a little tired. By the time we get to our recording time at the end of the day, I am a little lower energy because of all of that, on top of working, of course, and also money. And yes, well, I mean, I need to make money to pay for this dog's lavish lifestyle that he's enjoying, but also it's harder because I really do not like this time of year. I'm not a fan of the darkness early. Like
we haven't even gotten to full-blown winter yet.
No, I know, and and we've had some nicer side weather.
Today was kind of nice. Today was kind of warm.
For that, but even I don't get to appreciate the weather when you're out walking a dog. That's the thing. Like you are, I'm constantly paying attention. He's 4 months old. I mean, he's a puppy. He demands a lot of attention, mainly because he puts everything in his mouth. Everything. Oh my God. Everything except his food. So he is going through this stubborn phase where he will not eat his food. And so we're gonna try yogurt.
Have you shoved it into his mouth?
No. No, it's just crazy. So it's a lot of work. It's exhausting. This is parenthood.
It's exhausting just hearing about it. Let alone
So yeah. So but anyway, so you met him for Dennis's birthday party last Friday night, and then we got up the next morning and drove to Cambridge, Massachusetts for our half marathon, which happened on Sunday. And
you finished?
Finished the race. Only 2 minutes longer than my race like 22 months ago, so not too bad.
And it took an extra hour to get there because of the dog.
Yes, so traveling with the dog. Well, so yes, so we it's extra time traveling with the dog, but also our dog seems likes to get car sick.
What?
So yes, he didn't on the way back, which was very helpful, but I'm not sure that he had eaten enough to be sick. But on the way up, yep, threw up. So he's
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I mean, it's just it's just food and water or whatever, and
Ugh, gross.
it's but yeah. So traveling with the dog takes longer. Plus, there was a lot of traffic this weekend, which I was slightly surprised by.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we drove up there. We ran the race. Stayed in the hotel. Yes, a dog-friendly hotel, and of course, I'm taking him out after the race to go pee, and we're waiting for the elevator, which comes really quickly. We're only on the 4th floor, and he pees in the hallway on the
Oh
run.
my god.
So these are like the challenges of being a dog parent to a puppy anyway.
So did you have to clean it up, or did the
No,
staff
no, I just stopped down at the front desk and said, I'm really sorry, my dog just peed on the landing on the 4th floor, and they said, oh, no problem, where is it? And so I told them, and that was it. But there are other dogs there too, so I'm sure it's just a very common, probably more common occurrence than not. So so it's fine, but yeah. But traveling back, he was fine. We stopped at my sister's, and he met his cousins and my niece and nephews. So that was quite an adventure. And yeah, and then we drove back, and he rode on Dennis's. I drove the whole way, and Dennis and he slept as I drove home after we stopped.
How nice.
Yes, how nice for them, isn't it? So, but we only had to stop once, and it was, the traffic, there was no traffic. It was great. So,
okay.
So yeah, so then I was back to work on Monday, and yeah, my knee and my leg are still a little bit sore. So I need to
see a doctor.
I need to see a doctor.
God,
figure this out so I can continue to run.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, that's exciting. I'm glad you finished. I'm glad you made it there, made it back.
Yeah,
it's an accomplishment.
It all worked out.
Did not realize that dogs get car sick. That's interesting. Another reason to not get a dog.
Well, you don't even drive, so
I do not.
There's another reason you don't have to worry about this.
Yeah, I don't drive. I don't want a dog. I don't want kids. That was one thing today. The matchmaker came to me today with a proposed match. I was like, I'm interested in talking to him. Yep. And then the matchmaker wrote back and said, there is one thing I should disclose. He has a three-year-old daughter. And I thought about it for like 5 minutes, and I was like, no, absolutely not. I don't want children. I do think that when I spoke to him initially, I was like, maybe I could be open. But then when I was actually faced with the prospect, I was like, that sounds very unappealing. So no, I don't want it.
Yeah. And that's understandable. Not everybody is wants to have kids.
Yeah. So no, I wrote back, and then he was like, yep, we can totally just filter out people who either have kids or want kids. I'm like, okay, sounds good.
There you go.
Yeah. So,
but otherwise than that, you're interested in him. So you're interested in setting up a date with him.
Yeah, but now that we've nixed him, it doesn't matter.
You're right. Yeah.
So it's fine. So yeah, that is.
So what? We haven't really caught up. So because we've been both so busy. But what was your weekend like?
I mean, I saw you Thursday and Friday last week.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else. I saw Friends over the weekend. Oh, I went to see Eternals. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It was good. It was above average.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes, it wasn't excellent. But I did enjoy it. So it was good. It was long. It was like 2.5 hours. It was kind of a longer movie. But I liked it. Yeah, my weekend was not that eventful other than kind of normal catch ups with people. I broke my fish tank lid. They were screaming, yelling, crying, no crying,
Swearing.
but I wanted to I wanted to I wanted to cry. I didn't want to cry. I wanted to
So what actually happened with the lid of the?
I dropped it on the floor and it shattered into a billion pieces.
So you were carrying it back to put it on top of the?
Yes,
thing?
I took it off the fish tank to put it on a table because I was going to do some maintenance on the tank, and I am Butterfingers, and I dropped it, and it broke, and it was a custom cut lid, so I had to reorder a lid. The lid cost $90 just for the lid because it's a custom piece of glass that I wanted very specific dimensions for.
Right.
Very annoying. So yeah, it's first world problems, I suppose. But yeah, I was like, curses, why me?
I'm sure that it was more animated and more loud.
Oh yeah, no, it was totally animated. I was like, why? But
there was screaming.
There was definitely screaming.
Yes, I'm sure.
And it's like one of those ones where it also kind of happened in slow motion. I was like, ah! I saw it slipping from my fingers.
Yeah. That's
fine.
Unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, but live and learn. I didn't learn anything. I learned to be less klutzy, but that's not really helpful. So yeah, there we are.
I mean, did your hands just gave out? They were like, oh,
no, it just slipped. It slipped from my hands. Yeah. So here we are.
Yeah.
I learned nothing from that experience. I did not become a better person. But I survived. So
yes, you did survive. There was no injury to self.
No injury. No cut, no bloodletting.
So I did get some frantic texts from you on Saturday, or was it Sunday? I forget.
What was it?
Well, about potentially screaming because you were walking a block away from my apartment.
Yes. So this is before Eternals. I went to have brunch with a friend at 44 and X,
I know that. Yeah.
For brunch.
Sure. Yep.
Really cute. We had a really cute waiter, but that's a
nice
story.
That's always nice. Nice addition to a brunch.
Yeah. And then we walked up 10th because he had booked tickets at the Lincoln Square Theater. So we walked up. We had some time, so we walked up, and we're at 48th and 10, and I saw Wilson Cruz. And I just saw his profile, but I can recognize him. He was waiting to cross the street, and I hit my friend, and he was like, "What?" And I was like, "It's Wilson Cruz." And he was like, "Who's that?" And I was like, "That person is Wilson Cruz." And he was like, "I have no idea who that is." And I was like, "He's on Star Trek, I guess." I don't even know what else Wilson Cruz has been in. I'll be totally honest. I don't know his whole filmography. I have no idea. So I think
he was on 13 Reasons Why.
Never saw it.
No. I never watched it either. And then he's famous for Ricky Valdez in My So-Called Life.
Never saw it.
And he's also, been in Rent and things like that. So
I'm not a big fan of Rent.
Okay.
So Anthony Rapp was in Rent, right?
Yes, they both were.
Okay, they were both in Rent. Okay.
Yes. So when we someday interview them, let's not bring up you're not a fan of Rent. Okay.
I mean, not everybody has to be a fan of Rent. Whatever. I stand proud in my opinions. In any case, I saw Rent. I was like, I don't get it. I saw it when I was in college. I was like, I don't understand why this is so revolutionary. Get me out of here. But in any case, Wilson Cruz is there. I did not go up to speak to Wilson Cruz. I wanted to point at him and scream his name, but I did not do that. So we just kept on walking. But he was. Yeah, in-house kitchen, maybe meeting up with some friends, maybe meeting up with a boyfriend. I have no idea. But yeah, I saw Wilson Cruz. That was exciting.
Yeah, that is exciting. Wow. I've not seen Wilson Cruz in person, so.
I mean, it's bound to happen. It's like he lives in London City. It's like it's House Kitchen. It's like whatever.
Yeah, it's
you know.
yeah, it was bound to happen.
Yeah, it's like the statistical odds of it happening at some point in our lifetimes was high.
Yes, outside of a Star Trek convention, of course.
Outside of a Star Trek convention, that is correct.
Yeah.
So yeah, that did happen. Mm-hmm.
Well, we won't see him this weekend because he's on his way to Destination Star Trek London. So he's there. I know Emily Coots is also out that way as well. I saw some photos from her.
Okay.
So we won't see him this weekend, unfortunately. But maybe we'll run into him the following.
That's okay. I'm
weekend.
too busy this weekend anyway.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
So this week it was also Mary Chifo's birthday.
Yes, happy birthday, Mary Chifo.
Yeah, and I saw the post from her girlfriend, Mags, and I wished her a happy birthday. And she liked the comment on Instagram, so I thought that was really cool.
Wow, you guys are like besties.
Yeah, I know. But I'm
not really into the celebrity thing. I mean, like Wilson Cruz it was very unexpected, which is why I was like, what? It's Wilson Cruz?
I can't even imagine if it had been you and me walking and we saw him.
Yes, there would
have been probably a lot of screaming and like, what do we do? What do we do?
I just I mean, it's just another person. It's to me, it's like whatever.
Yeah,
it was just very unexpected to me that he was just standing there. I was like,
yeah, sure.
And my friend had no idea who he was, so whatever.
Sure, yeah, no. But getting back to Mary Chifa for a second, her girlfriend Mags wrote a really nice story on her Instagram post about how her and Mary kind of met and became friends and everything. I thought it was really sweet. So I'd really, at some point I really would like to reach out to Mary and see if she would come on and talk a little bit about her coming out story, because I think over the past couple of months, obviously she's been much more out there about her relationship, and ever since the Star Trek Day, really, when it was sort of, I mean, I guess it was probably, it became very public at Star Trek Day.
Right.
I'm sure she wasn't hiding it or anything.
No,
like
she
that.
wasn't. Yeah.
But
I feel like, yeah, I knew. And then you brought it up. I was like, yeah, that's a thing. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe I didn't know.
I don't know her. I don't know her life. It's just like
no, of course not. No,
I think I heard it somewhere. So, okay, whatever.
Yeah. So I think it would be cool to hear her coming out story. I think it would be really cool to do that. So
sure.
Yeah.
If she wants to come on the podcast, I'm sure we can fit her in.
Absolutely, with our busy.
I mean, I don't know about you. I have a busy social schedule, so my time is limited. But whatever. Here we are.
Well, you'll move some things around for Wilson Cruz or Mary Chifo, or
we can find a way.
We can find a way.
Yeah.
So yeah. Also, you sent me a post this morning, which I was kind of surprised about. Was
that this morning?
Yeah, that was
flying
this morning.
By. I don't even know what time is anymore. Was it this morning or let's talk? I think he sent you last night, and then he responded this morning.
Okay. Yeah. So it's kind of a surprise. You want to tell everybody what it was about?
I had just come across this post. I didn't check the sources. I'm sure it seemed legit, but apparently Prodigy is going to go on hiatus after its 5th episode, and then it's going to come back sometime in the spring, and the first season will have a total of 20 episodes, which is shocking. I thought it was very shocking given streaming. Usually streaming, it's like 10 to 13 episodes.
Yeah.
20 episodes is a lot for this day and age. So that was what was very surprising to me, especially for an anime show that needs a lot of lead time. I thought that was interesting, but
I thought
well, and the release pattern, I was like, why go on?
Yeah, the release pattern is actually really interesting to me. So
odd.
And obviously we're going to talk about the latest episode of Prodigy in a little bit, but I'm just going to say this about the Prodigy episode that we just watched, Starstruck. It made me realize that we're watching a children's animation show, first of all. So
yes.
So that after I realized that, it made more sense as to why it is running what we thought was concurrently with Discovery, but they will have one shared week, and then it will be all then it will be all Discovery for a while until who knows when. So what's interesting to me is, a lot of shows have done like 10 episodes and then mid-season break and then 10 episodes. I mean, a lot of like CW shows have done that. The Walking Dead has done that.
It is all for streaming though. That's what.
Yeah.
Traditional, yes. Yeah. You have a mid-season break, winter break or whatever, and then you come back. Yeah. But streaming it's a little odd.
Yeah, but I think that the other piece of this, so that didn't strike me as quite as odd, but this release 5 episodes, which so we have an episode tomorrow, and then we'll have an episode next week with Discovery's premiere, and that's it. And then we're supposed to stay intrigued and interested. And I mean, is episode 5 so earth-shattering that we're going to need a break? Or I
barely remember what happened like in my life last week, let alone a TV show that I've only seen like basically 4 hours of. Yeah. And then 6 months later we get part 2. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, so that's the interesting part, is like the 5 episode, then the 5 episode, then another break. So you see the 10 episodes, and then you'll get the second half of that, another 10 episodes.
I hope they don't do another hiatus or something. That'd be really annoying.
Well, and then what do you have? Then they've already been renewed for season 2. So
yes, that was the other part of it.
Yeah, so that's really interesting. So I'm wondering if, I guess I have a couple of questions. I mean, one of them would be, are we realizing that, is there some changes that need to be made to the story as it's happening, that they're kind of realizing as it rolls out, and they're getting feedback maybe from the age demographic that they're watching, or was this planned all along? It just seems very kind of sudden and kind of strange,
very odd. Yeah.
But then then you take into the fact that this is CBS, and then it's like, well, these idiots don't even know how to write an app that works properly most of the time. So things like this are par for the course,
I guess. It's just very weird. And I mean, I don't think it would have been issued to run concurrently with Discovery, because it's a very different show. It's like different demographics. I wouldn't have felt that it would cannibalize each other.
Not at all.
It's very weird.
I also think, you could also move the release date to a Tuesday and release Prodigy on a Tuesday, and then have Discovery come on a Thursday. Like, why do all of this Star Trek shows need to come out on Thursday?
Yeah.
I don't know either. I just again, makes me question, and that actually made me think also too. News. This is old news. I don't even know how old this news is, but there are multiple Star Trek movie projects in pre-production. So
I don't know
on a completely different. So I don't know. The people complain a lot about Disney, but honestly, Disney is much more
smart. They're pretty savvy.
Yeah, they're much more organized, and have this thought out a lot better than Paramount doesn't. And I'm a Star Wars and Marvel fan, so I have a Disney subscription, and I love those shows, but I also love Star Trek. Obviously, we have had a podcast for over a year now talking about Star Trek.
We have a Star Trek podcast.
We buy the books, and or I buy the audiobooks. Like, I am feeding this machine called Star Trek. So I, like everyone on the internet, I have an opinion as well. And I really wonder, like, what the fuck is going on?
I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. I just think it's weird. And
I just really, and I don't use the F-bomb very often, but like when it comes to the higher ups at Paramount, and how CBS Paramount, whatever it's called now, I don't even know. It's so freaking confusing.
CBS Viacom. I don't know.
I don't know.
Something like that.
Sure, whatever it's called. Shit Show Central is what it should be.
Yeah.
Really, it really is a shit show.
Love it.
I just don't get it.
I don't get it either.
They really need, you know what? They really should just put some money out there, hire away an executive from Disney, and have them come in and straighten things out. Help straighten things out. I mean, honestly, you need someone who, you know, or an executive from Netflix, like one of the streaming companies that's been around, that knows what they're doing, can organize this stuff.
I know,
much better than
hire the right people. I mean, it's not all the C-suite people; it's like everyone below them, and it's all of it. I have no idea.
Yeah, and this my criticism is not to the creative side of Star Trek. I mean, I'm not, I don't believe that this is Alex Kurtz's
Well, I have some feedback
fault.
for them too, but that's besides the point.
What's that?
I have some feedback for them too, but that's besides.
Sure. On the creative side, that's a different story, but they aren't running the day-to-day operations of CBS, Viacom, Paramount Plus, whatever the fuck you want to call them. So I think that's the irritation for me is I can trust in, and I know we don't always agree on how things, story arcs and things like that, but I think Michelle Paradise and Akiva Goldsmith and all, I think all the people that are on the creative side, I can get behind, I support. I don't always like maybe what they're doing. We have differences of opinion, but I don't fault them for the overall, planning and marketing and all of that kind of operational side of running a empire like Star Trek.
Right.
And this is only going to get worse. If they don't get it, I mean, they haven't gotten it and they're still continuing to grow, and yet they still aren't pulling their shit together.
I know. I don't know what's going on.
And, eventually we're going to add in other shows, as the shows kind of, as Picard season 3 ends, what's going to fill that slot, whether it's the Section 31 or another series, who knows? And who else knows what else there, the Starfleet Academy idea that's kicking around in Alex's mind.
Is that going to be like, I wonder is that going to be like Gossip Girl meets Star Trek? That'd be funny.
Yeah, maybe it will be, who knows? But like, as you add more to the mix, are you telling me that we're just going to continue with this shit show, planning and marketing and thinking this through? So they really do need to find someone to kind of get the reins on this horse and figure this out.
In general, they've had just a lot of changes in leadership. I just don't think that, I don't know. I don't think they have good leaders. And it starts at the top, and obviously it's not the CEO of Paramount, CBS, whatever, Viacom that's making these decisions, but
he does set the tone and does, that's part of it. He hires, so
yeah. Anyway.
So all right, that's enough of
Viacom, CBS, Paramount rant for the week.
Yes, that is. Yeah. Well, we didn't have much else to talk about. We have a 22-minute episode to talk about here in a few minutes.
I mean, which I also have notes on, so.
Oh, of course. Of course we do. This is a Star Trek podcast. We have thoughts on the episode.
Yes,
so
yes.
I think that wraps up the news and our general thoughts on the Star Trek universe.
Yeah, should we get into this week's episode?
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Star Trek Prodigy's episode 3, which seems confusing because parts 1 and 2 of the pilot. But episode 3, Starstruck.
What sort of mess hall has no mess to eat? I'm starving.
If you need sustenance, cadets, the food replicator uses matter conversion to create any meal you dare dream up.
Jenkum's a little light on credit.
As a cadet, you should know the Federation has moved past traditional currency. It's free.
What? Blood truffle biscuits, sweet radish pie, and don't skimp on the sour gravy! Oh, come to Poggy. Go on, Rock. Try it out. What's your favorite food?
I don't know. I'll just have what you got.
Dream big, kid. You should order whatever you want.
Nutrigoop? That slop they fed us back in the mines? Why?
It's the only food I've ever had.
I appreciate a gal who knows what she likes.
So, Johnson, I know you've only watched this episode once.
Yes, I did.
But we did have a little back and forth about your thoughts about this episode already.
I didn't need to watch it again. I mean, I thought this episode
what did
fine.
you what how about we start with what did you like anything about the episode? What did you like about the episode?
The visuals were good for this episode. It had some really good key moments, set pieces, like with the binary system. That was cool. The 3D printing of the shuttlecraft, that was neat. That they have like basically like a shuttle builder. Like that's like, oh, that, you know, I was like, Voyager could have used that. You know, instead they had to
perhaps
build.
there's one on Voyager and we just didn't know it to explain all the shuttlecraft that they lost.
Maybe. I mean, they made building the Delta Flyer a really big deal versus just input some idea into the computer and they'll just build it, you know. But I thought that was cool. That was a cool scene. It was really just 3D printing a shuttlecraft.
Yes.
Yes. I was gonna keep on going, but I was trying to stay on the positives. Yes. So yes, there were some nice beats in terms of the set pieces. Some of the action was good. And yes, I mean, what did you like about this episode?
I continue to like Jenkem Pog. He's like the sassy, sarcastic one of the group. I really like him.
It's so interesting. He like fades into the background for me. I have no idea why. He is
a sarcastic star of this show. The one who
he's sarcastic, but I don't know why. I don't find him to be memorable.
Oh, I do all the time. Love it. You know, I enjoyed them exploring the engine room. So the Protostar has 2 warp cores and something else, which they have not figured out, which we obviously...
That was 1 warp core and then 1 other engine. Was it 2 warp cores?
There were 2 warp cores.
Oh, okay.
So there are 2 warp cores and then this other thing that they don't know what it is yet.
Okay.
Which obviously we know that it has something to do with that third nacelle that pops out and goes super fast. But so that was exciting. You know, the visuals of the interior of the ship were really cool. That's exciting. I think to see just the different areas of the ship, and it's fresh and new, and yeah, you know, it looks great. It would be fun to explore that. I actually would really love a technical manual for the Protostar. You know, that would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That would be really cool. Because we're not getting like the Doctor Who insides of this. You know, we are getting
not yet. It's only episode.
Not yet, but we are. You know, it doesn't seem like a huge ship. So it's, you know, I want to say it's more the size of Voyager or. Maybe a little bit bigger.
It seems like it might be like 5 to 10 decks, maybe something like that.
Yeah. So I did enjoy the 3D printing of this shuttlecraft, which would explain Voyager's endless supply of shuttlecrafts in their 7 years in the Delta Quadrant. Let's see what else. Yeah, I thought there were some good character moments. I really. The other character I'm really liking is Rock.
Rock Talk?
I think that Rock Talk, she is speaking her mind. She is, she's calling Gwen out on her...
Yes, I did like that, actually.
I thought that was really good. Yeah. She's got some built-up anger.
Yes.
And
Resentment.
also we learned something what I think is really sad, but it's not meant, I don't think it was meant to be sad, but we learned that all she's ever had is that
That
replica.
was a little sad because she didn't know what else to order.
Yeah, so that was kind of but I liked how Janeway said I like a girl who knows what she likes. And I thought that was a nice way to make soften that little bit of heart tug a little bit. So really liking Rock Talk. I think that she also, what I also like is that even, the questioning of Dal at all the time. Like I love that everything's up for discussion. I like how they challenge him. So I'm enjoying that dynamic. I hope that continues. And I really like the ending of this episode because it's Janeway kind of brings up the fact that the Federation started as something very similar to this crew.
Right.
A bunch of different creatures with different cultures and all these things. They didn't know each other.
Right.
They had to get used to each other. They had to learn about each other. And that's how
I like Janeway in this episode. I liked her elevator pitch of the Federation. It literally was like an elevator pitch.
Yep.
Which was easy to digest, and you had some of the visuals, which is cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, Janeway's great, even in hologram form.
Yeah, I think that she was I didn't like the hollow nanny comment that Dal made, but I do think that she's there to guide them, and I think that it's a different side of Janeway that is motherly and which you saw somewhat on Voyager, but obviously a different context. But yeah, I thought that Janeway was great in this episode. Yeah, so there was a lot of I watched it so I watched it twice today. Just to
kind of watch it 3 times.
I did watch it 3 times because I listened to another podcast about it a little bit, and I wanted to kind of see if I saw some of the things that they pointed out, but I also wanted to see like some of I wanted to get beyond, which we're going to talk about any second now. I wanted to get beyond my annoyance with Dal and his whole character and the way that he was acting in this episode, which was really annoying. So which bothered me in the first viewing. It bothered me less in the second viewing. And even less in the third one because I was starting to pay attention to the other dynamics that were ongoing. And I think that's what you have to do with this show. I think you have to pick up on those little differences. Like the things that bother you, you start paying attention to the things that don't bother you and see what's going on.
I don't have time to watch it 3 times.
I mean, it's 20 minutes.
I have other things to watch.
Sure. But but I also wanted to. I wanted
and
to
this
see.
Is how much are we demanding from the kids that watch this? Like, how many times do they need to watch it to pick up all the nuances? Like,
well, no, I think
after watching it once, I had no desire to watch it again.
Well, that's actually how I felt the first time, and I was like, well, we're about to talk about it. I should watch it again. So I watched it again this morning, and then I was like, I still really want to. I was listening on one of the walks with Hamish. I was listening to a podcast about it, and so I wanted to watch it one more time and just see if I could pick up things, anything else. So yeah, I moved my focus away from what I didn't like to what I did like more so, and tried to pick up on some other details that I might have glossed over prior to that. But
okay, so what did you notice?
I mean, I liked. Well, one thing I did hear is that this show is all about equality. That when Janeway was doing the pitch about the Federation, she talked about she mentioned equality, and Rock Talk picked up on equality. That sounds nice.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was a really nice theme for kids to kind of hear and see and
right. Yeah, they're doing the Federation ideals in drips and drops.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the other thing too.
Not like, oh my god, Sorry, there's a huge bug in my apartment, and I did not expect it to just be right there, right next to my hand. I looked down and it was right there. It just obviously I freaked out for a second, but I'm here. I'm present.
I saw you watch. So for those,
Yeah.
I saw you looking around like, okay, there's something in the room with him.
Yeah.
Either it's a ghost or it's a flying insect of some kind.
I just didn't expect it. It was like right there. Like it was just like sitting there. And then I freaked out and then flew away.
So anyway, I just think that they're weaving in some interesting things. I think that I think the anger management with Rock Talk, she's very upset with Gwen, and she, physically attacks Gwen and Gwen fights back, but
right.
So fighting doesn't solve everything. So I think that I'm starting to see some of the lessons that they build into this, but also, I think I really did love Rock Talk saying, why didn't you do anything? So I did
appreciate that she calls her out on it.
Yeah, and I did. The other piece that I appreciated was that Gwen actually realized,
right,
like that was new information to her. So she's starting to see some manipulation from the diviner.
Mm-hmm.
She still thinks that the diviner is going to come, her dad's going to come and save her, whatnot, and it'll be all over for the kids. But I think that they started seeding this little idea, like doubts in Gwen's mind, and I thought that
it takes time if you're brought up to believe in something or
absolutely
all you've known. It takes time to change minds. It doesn't.
Exactly. And I think that that's another theme that they're bringing up in this episode. So, or at least us as adults can kind of watch that and see that and realize that, and that's something that we can take away, because oftentimes we want people's opinions and ideals to change much quicker than they do, and everything takes time. So I just, those are some of the things that I picked up on as I dug deeper. But I definitely, on first watching, I was like, I don't want to watch this episode again. I'm like disappointed. I was disappointed after watching it the first time, because I was like, I really loved the pilot.
Mm-hmm.
And then then we have this really whiny, pain in the ass Dal, who's
so okay. We need to talk about Dal, because we're like beating around the bush, and I need to get it out.
I knew you would. So
I wanted to stab him in the eyes repeatedly. Like he was such a fucking annoying presence. I can't even deal. The problem is he's also too front and center. Okay, so there are multiple issues I have with this. So first of all, yes, these are all kids, but I don't know why they had to make Dal so annoying. I did appreciate some of the things that he did say. Like, for example, his initial reaction to Janeway's pitch, right, was one of doubt and disbelief, because the Federation, the idea of the Federation is very utopian, it's very idealistic, and it's very out there, right? Like, what kind of society has actually achieved this kind of ideal? So I actually did appreciate his initial reaction to Janeway and how he was like just very dubious about her whole elevator pitch. And was like, and he said something actually very insightful. He was just like, it was something along the lines of like, he's learned that people who are in power, like they have something to sell, and they're never to be believed. That's very, very poor paraphrasing of what he said, but it was something along those lines, right? Like, and he's learned from experience. Like we don't know where he was at before he was on, I don't remember the name of the prison planet, but he's obviously, he's learned from experience. I get it. But he was just so fucking annoying. And of course, they need to give him so much screen time because he is the main character. So you had him basically, he's very stubborn, obviously. And it was like, to what point do we need to bring this where he finally is able to ask for help? And it was too much. It was too much of this character and his stubbornness. And not only that, he's imposing. The problem is he's a bully. In real life, I feel he's a bully. Like, he's imposing his views on those around him, and they're not strong enough to stand up to him. I feel Gwen is going to be eventually this presence after she, you know, turns around. She's going to be his, you know, she's going to be Dal's counterpoint. You know, she's going to be the one to stand up to him. But everyone else kind of goes along, which I also found very annoying because he is a bully. He is, you know, he's a doubter, but he also is just so, as you're saying, he was just so whiny and a know-it-all and a bully. And I hate bullies. Jamie hates bullies too. Like, you know.
You're right. I didn't actually think of him as a bully, but I do see that now a little bit more. And
yeah, he beats down the opinion of other people.
Yeah.
And I really hate bullies because I was bullied when I was a kid. And I recognize that in people.
Yeah,
so
no.
I'm like, oh my God, this is like, I guess this is like trigger, but I'm like, I hate this guy. Oh my God. Yep. And then of course, yes, he's a main character and he needs to like get all the screen time. So yeah, I was just like, I really want to stab him and like rip that like tail off his head, whatever that is.
Yeah, I think with Dal, yeah, definitely everything you said resonates for me. Shoot, I lost what I was gonna say. I hate when that happens.
Well, yes. So did you also want to stab him in the face?
I did not want to stab him, but I you know, so okay, here's my thought. It's very clear that Dal has more information than he's letting on. Like there is a history there. He knows too much.
We saw that in the pilot too.
We saw that in the pilot a little bit. We see it a lot more in this episode. He knows too much. He knows about Tellarites. He knows these things. So there's something that we're not yet told about him that he's not letting anyone know. And I think that that's where the arrogance comes from. And I think that that's also where the bullying, I mean, it's clear that he is fighting, he's been in some sort of authoritarian, other than this prison planet, he's been in some other authoritarian regime where he grew up or whatever, or where his parents are from. And so he has this experience where he doesn't want to go somewhere where there's another big boss, which is what he essentially called the Federation, you know. Another group of people or another boss to bow down to. So that I think is standing out for me in a lot of ways as well. And it's kind of annoying me. Like we're learning more about dynamics and other things, but we're not learning more about Dal at all. We're not, there isn't.
Well, it's only episode 3, so I'm sure
it is. You're right. Yeah. But we learn about Rock Talk. She's been there since, you know, that's the only place she really knows. You know, Jankum Pog is probably more of a teenager. We know a lot about Zero and the hell that he was put through from the Diviner. So we know that. We know nothing about Murph, but I don't think we're going to. I think it's just kind of the goofy.
Maybe he'll be like a science experiment gone wrong or something like that.
Well, that's my theory, and I did see a tweet from the writer's room of Prodigy, and they were like, no one has correctly guessed what species or where Murph comes from. So,
interesting. Okay.
So there's definitely an origin, and
my guess is science experiment gone wrong.
Yeah, I agree. It's, you know, some obscure little, maybe even one-liner from like Nurse Ogawa on the Enterprise in season 4 of Star Trek: The Next Generation, where she's doing some sort of experiment and something, you know, something very like really meta level, like super like nitpicky thing. That's where I think, or something similar to that, either in maybe in Voyager even.
Yeah.
But I think that you know, we've learned a little bit about, we don't know anything about Jankum Pog. He's a little bit older. I think he's more of a teenager, it would seem like.
I think Dal's supposed to be 16, 17.
Okay. See, we don't even know how old he is, but, you know, he does.
I saw these like profiles or something.
Okay.
I don't remember. Maybe it wasn't.
Yeah.
Star Trek I don't remember.
But I think out of all the characters, we know the least about Dal, and I think that's going to become a problem unless we learn something this week.
I'm sure we'll learn more about him. He just is not. He did not do it for me this episode.
No, I think you're calling him out on a bully is the right thing. I think that he's the most experienced of the crew, as far as what the outside world is all about, to some extent, negatively, obviously. But yeah, so there's that, and then we see, on a separate note, we saw a lot more of the Diviner this episode.
A little bit more, yeah.
So he's out of that tank. He has a suit.
He has a power suit.
He has some sort of suit. And part of the mining operation is a ship that called the Rev 12 that takes off and leaves the mining device. Leaves the mining planet cloaked. Chimerian apparently is a kind of cloaking something. It seems like a multi-purpose gem of some sort. So yes, he is. This is Star Trek on Plus. They did these little character profiles, and he's 17. Oh, okay, all right.
He's 17. Gwen is 17.
Okay.
Jenkinpah is 16. Apparently, I don't know. This hasn't been established in series. Rock Talk is 8.
Yeah, Rock Talk is 8. Yeah,
and that's all we have. And then Murph and 0 are TBD.
Yeah. So I think I want to say that on the maturity level, Dal is certainly on the lower end of the maturity level than Jank and Pog, or even
such a fucking annoyance. I'm just saying.
But it is a kid's show, and so that kind of
it is a kid's show. Oh my god, I hate children. Yeah, I hate teenagers too. This is the problem. I don't like teenagers either. So
children become teenagers. So
I know that entire age group.
Well, I think everything that the bullying piece is important to point out. I think I agree with that, but I also, like we've said before, like this is clearly a kids show, not targeted for us at all. So it is what it is. But
yes, it was brought to me. I know you don't have the commercials, but it's brought to me by Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. So.
Yes, I don't have I am so happy I do not have the commercials.
Oh my god, it's just annoying.
I get annoyed when we're watching something on Hulu and we have commercials. I'm like,
I have the Hulu without commercials.
Oh, see, you get 4 minutes of TV and then you watch 2.5 minutes of commercials, and I'm like, this is backwards and fucked up. But anyway, I digress. But I think I'm a little surprised that we only have 2 episodes before we have a break.
Yeah, that's really soon.
So I just don't know. I don't know the plan for this, but unless that 5th episode is longer than its normal length, which I doubt it would be, because it's it's Nickelodeon. But yeah, I am really surprised by that move. So I feel like we're gonna
wait. Well, I'm curious, I actually haven't listened to other podcast about this episode. That was their consensus that was annoying.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, it was good. Granted, these were adults, but yes. I was listening to Discovering Trek Prodigy, and both Jamie and Mike were like, Dal is annoying. He's an annoying teenager, and that definitely distracted I think on first watch that would have distracted every adult from wanting to see it again, and that certainly did it for me. And I only really watched it the second time today to prepare for this.
We need to talk about it. That's the
so and so much time so anyway, so yeah, I think that that's really the only other podcast I'd listened to about it, but I wanted to hear a little bit more, and their kids were both on there, and so yeah, it was just good to hear a little bit from a kid's perspective, what they like and what they but they didn't come up with the bullying thing, which I kind of think that is valid, and I think I agree with you as someone who grew up being bullied. I think that that is triggering, and that's certainly
that's why I wanted to do the stabby stab,
Yes. Yeah. So there we go. I mean, anything else you want to talk about in this episode?
No, I want to move on.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. 1 star. No, that's a little
1
harsh.
star.
That's a little
Yes,
harsh. Not 1 star.
That is a little harsh. Yeah. I will give it 3.5 stars out of 5.
Goodness, that's high, bitch.
Well, I mean, I would give the pilot 5 stars. I mean, the pilot was the best 1 hour of television I'd watched in a while, to be honest.
Pilot was good. I would not give it 5 stars. I'll probably give it like 4.5.
Yeah, probably 4.5. Yeah,
4.5.
That was But yeah,
5 stars is like masterpiece. That would be like masterpiece, which is rare.
I mean, it was pretty close. I would, it approached that level. I really did. It was visually, I was actually, so on my third watch, I have to say that the music is phenomenal.
Oh no, the music
score
of the pilot of this episode.
The pilot was amazing. I keep on. So I thought they were going to update the.
I was too distracted by Down to notice the music. I couldn't even tell.
You what?
I was too distracted by Down to notice the music in this episode.
Oh, so I tried to pay more attention to it on subsequent viewings because
they put a lot of effort into a kids show for music for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, Nami Melamud, I think is her name, is doing a fantastic job, and I really want to hear the soundtrack piece for them flying through the River of Fire. That if you pay attention to the music underneath that, it's very Star Trek Beyond.
Okay.
Like that level, like obviously Michael Giacchino.
I think we say his name different every time, by the way.
We do, yes. And I try to remember it's G.
I say Giacomo, but I don't know if that's correct.
No, so I know it's Key. I know it's Key because he specifically did his Instagram profile.
Key what?
In the middle. It's Kee.
Giacchino.
He lists it phonetically on his Instagram profile.
Oh, okay.
So no, I think I definitely got some vibes. I'm wondering if she's like a student of his, or I would love to learn more about Nami. But the River of Fire piece felt very Star Trek Beyond. When they're destroying aside from that, annoying classic rock theme, when they're destroying all of the ships and chasing after the bad guy to Wellington Station.
BC Boys?
BC Boys, yes. Sorry, I couldn't come up with that off the top of my head, but anyway.
Well, the only reason why I remember that is because the BC Boys went to my high school. So.
Oh, excuse me. Whoa. No one famous went to my high school, so excuse me.
I know. Who else went to my high school? Lucy Liu went to my high school.
Oh, I love Lucy Liu.
I don't remember. I'm sure
she's actually one of my favorite actresses. I really do love her.
She's great.
Charlie's Angels. I loved her on. I don't watch it anymore, but Sherlock. Well, not Sherlock.
Oh yeah.
What's it called?
Yes. Elementary.
Yeah, she's excellent in that. I love what season. I watched like 2 or 3, maybe 4 seasons of that. But
were there like 10 seasons of it or something?
Yeah. So she's great. I love her. But she was great, and I loved her in Charlie's Angels. I thought she was phenomenal.
Kill Bill.
Oh yeah, Kill Bill. Kill Bill is also another favorite of mine, even though it's very, very gory.
It's very gory. Not your usual kind of.
Not my usual fare, but I really love that. I really do love that. Wow. So you know some famous people. Well,
yeah, some. I mean, Lucy Liu and the BC Boys, whatever.
There you go. So I think that wraps it up for our talk about this episode of Prodigy, Starstruck. We have another episode tomorrow. Maybe I'll watch it tomorrow if I have time.
I know.
This one, I had no time. I think I watched this episode for the first time on Monday and then twice today.
You've been also busy. Yes, we know.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's move on and give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Fansets. So I actually just placed my order today.
For what?
So they came out with the Wrath of Khan Deltas.
Oh, Okay.
And
Okay.
it looks amazing. And
Okay.
so I definitely wanted to jump on that. It's already shipped. I ordered it this morning. It's already shipped. It's great.
Oh, cool. Wow.
Guys, the team at Fansets is so phenomenal. And I hope that one of them recognized my name and like put a little note saying hi in there. But I love Lou and John and the whole team there are amazing. This new pin is great. You can get it as a magnetic pin. Or you can get it as a pin, which I think is great. I ordered the magnetic. It's $2 more. This is probably the most expensive pin they've ever made, too. It's huge, by the way. It looks huge. So I got that, and then I picked up an Admiral Kirk and a Dadmiral pin. You know, the Dadmiral from Discovery. I can't think of his name. Vance. Thank you, Admiral Vance.
Yes.
Who we saw at Las Vegas.
Yes.
So I picked up 2 micro pins as well as the magnetic Wrath of Khan Delta. So I'm super excited to get it, but but I also used our code. So it was over $30. So
the one pin was over $30.
The Delta is $39.95.
Holy shit!
It is the most expensive pin they've ever made, I think.
My God.
And well, also, you know, prices have gone up. I mean, we just step back for a second. Consumer price index is up like 6%. That was in the news today.
And now for the economist report of our podcast.
Yes, here we go. The Federation Economy report. So the Federation economy has seen a 6% increase in consumer goods. And so I mean, but this has got a lot of. I mean, this pin is huge. So I wanted to be one of the first ones to get one. They just came out yesterday, and so I ordered it this morning, and it's already on its way. So I can't wait to get it. But Fansets is awesome. Their team is awesome. They have over 300 Star Trek pins plus a ton of other pins. Head on over if you are listening to this as soon as this episode hopefully airs this Friday, right? Last week's was a little late, but
yes,
that was my fault, and life's fault.
Yes.
But if you hear this on Friday, there still might be some pins available, so go order yours. Use the code DSPride, all caps, and get 10% off your order. And if you get the Wrath of Khan pin, it's automatically free shipping. So there you go. But put some other pins in there because they're a great team, and we really appreciate the support of Fansets for our podcast, Deep Space Pride, and also the Trek Geeks Podcast Network.
Thanks, Fansets. Cool. All right. I think that does it for this episode.
I think
if
so.
If you, being our listeners, want to tell us how much you hate Dal as well, feel free to reach out to us on social media. On Twitter and Instagram, our handles there are at Deep Space Pride, or you can email us at deepspacepride@gmail.com.
There we go. Well,
and we can commiserate about how terrible Dal is as a person.
Yes.
And hopefully he grows at some point.
I'm sure he's going to grow. I think that would. I mean, gosh, we have 17 more episodes to go. So
a lot of episodes.
Granted, there'll be 17 episodes over the next year, probably.
Oh my God. Imagine if they if they break it into 4 separate chunks or something like that. That'd be fun.
I was just going to say what they put 5 weeks in between each.
Could you imagine
each show, and it becomes like the gap show between all of the Star Trek shows?
Oh my God, I would go crazy.
That would be a little nuts. Unless they're building story around 5-episode arcs, mini arcs, then that would be insane. But apparently we're going to get 5 and 5. So whether they did it intentionally or not, we'll find out. But new episode tomorrow, and we'll talk about that next week. And then when we record next week, we'll be 1 day away from season 4 of Star Trek Discovery.
That's right. Oh my God.
So that will be super exciting to watch and talk about. And maybe by then you'll finish Coda, and we'll talk about Coda. By the way, if you are listening and you have not started Coda, please do. Get through the first book. It's kind of like, I mean, to use a Star Wars analogy, because I love the original trilogy, The first book is definitely like Star Wars. This second
It's
book,
not bad by any means.
no, not at all.
Yeah.
No, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, especially if you know aren't as up on
if you're not caught up with the last 15 years or so of Star Trek novels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this second book is seriously like The Empire Strikes Back, which I will say without reservation is my favorite of all Star Wars movies, but also one of my top 3 movies of all time. The Fifth Element being, I think, my number 1 movie of all time.
What?
I love The Fifth Element.
The Fifth Element is your favorite movie of all time?
I think so, yes. It's definitely been, it's amazing. I love that film so much.
What? That is so funny. I mean, I like The Fifth Element.
No, I love The Fifth Element. Wow. I love it. It's the best of Bruce Willis. It has got great direction, great visuals, great
It's
characters.
definitely very unique.
Yeah, no, totally unique. Like visually, like stunning in the same way. And you haven't watched Dune yet, so stunning in the way that
I will.
Dune,
I'm waiting for my friend
yeah,
to watch it with me, but I'm like, whatever.
I can't believe you watch things out of. Let's just talk about this for 1 second. Excuse us, viewers, listeners. You watch things out of order so much. You never watched Shang-Chi, or did you finally watch Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings?
I did. It was
you watched it months after. You watched it a month or more after.
Okay, that's an exaggeration. That is a lie.
It's a lot.
It was like 3 weeks after.
It was longer than that. And you watch Eternals, which I have almost next to zero interest in watching. Pretty much opening weekend.
Okay, my friend wanted to watch it. I was like,
Dune has been out for weeks on HBO Max.
And now for 3 weeks, yes.
I watched that within like 1 or 2 days.
It's gonna happen. I'm gonna watch it.
But all right, so going back to the whole Dune. So Dune is visually stunning as well, but in a very like monochrome, like desert versus water planet, like some very like harsh differences. I mean, you're filming 90% of the movie in the desert. But The Fifth Element, color, like vibrancy, like explosions, amazing characters, creatures, like everything. I just love this movie. It's so great. Anyway, so end of rant.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, but those are two of my top 2. Those are 2 of
The Fifth Element. That is so fascinating. It's definitely not even top 10 for me, but interesting. Okay.
I would watch that and Empire Strikes Back in a heartbeat. Yep. If I need some comfort food, if I've had a really bad day, I would order Olive Garden or fried chicken. No, I'd order fried chicken and rice.
Korean fried chicken or regular fried chicken?
No, Korean fried chicken and rice, and sit and watch Empire Strikes Back and The Fifth Element. Hands down, that would be the best night ever.
Wow.
But anyway, so getting back to Coda.
Okay.
Coda is the Empire Strikes Back of this series, I believe. So
is that hard to say without having read the final book?
I mean, it has all the elements of The Empire Strikes Back, like every bit, like tragedy, like cliffhangers, like so much, and it had so much DS9 in it. It was great. Great. God. Quark and Rolaren and Cisco.
Stop! I haven't even gotten to Quark yet.
Oh wow, really?
I'm like 4 chapters in, bitch.
Oh my gosh, read faster. All right, so hopefully
I have things to do. I have a life to live.
Yes. I ran a half marathon. I still listened to the book.
Oh my God. Okay.
So anyway, so definitely pick that up because we are going to talk about that. It's excellent. James Swallow is my new hero for writers right now.
Wow. Okay.
It was that good of a book. So definitely pick that up. We're going to talk about it soon. And then we'll have Discovery soon as well. So we've got lots coming up.
We do. Oh God.
All right. Well, let's wrap this up so I can go cook dinner. It's already late. But thanks everybody for listening. Reach out to us on socials. Go to fansets.com, get some pins, write and tell us all about it. an email, and we will see you back here next week to talk about the next episode of Prodigy.
Bye, everyone.
Deep Space Pride is a production of Coconut Media Works. Executive producers Bill Smith and Dan Davidson. For more great Star Trek discussion, discover the other shows of the Trek Geeks Podcast Network at trekgeeks.com or find us in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app.
Coconut.